Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone is excited to be joining us today for the first webinar in our 2019 Records and Information Management Month. I hope everyone was able to log in okay. It looks like we've got quite a few people watching and very excited to have you all here. I'm just going to jump right in and introduce myself. My name is Heidi Steed, and I am the local government record specialist here at the State Archives, and I am joined today by my colleague Rebekkah Shaw. Rebekkah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Rebekkah Shaw. I am the RIMM specialist for education agencies, the Attorney General's office, and the General Retention Schedule Update project leader.
Excellent. So today we are going to be talking about using and understanding function-based retention schedules, and specifically how we here at the State Archives have started making the move to function-based retention schedules over the last few years. I'm assuming that most of you are familiar with our previous general retention schedule system, which was more organized based on the subject of a record or the specific type, like paper record types. So last year we made the move to start implementing the function-based model, and we made changes to our online search interface to coincide with this change. So we're going to be talking a little bit about why we made that move and how you can use our general retention schedule search page. We're going to offer some tips and tricks for how to best use that and how you can provide us feedback to make it even better and more user-friendly for you. So that will be part of what we do today. So a big part of what we are doing today is going to require questions from all of you. So we've offered 3 different ways that you can get in touch with us today and send us your questions. You can either comment here on YouTube using the comment box. You'll just need to be logged in with a Gmail account. You can also email us at recordstraining@utah.gov. Or if you are into Twitter and have a Twitter, you can tweet us at Records Keepers. And we will be following along with all 3 of those today throughout the webinar. So feel free to submit your questions to any of those. We'll have that up in the left corner of the screen as we're going through. So feel free to submit your questions throughout. We will do our best to answer them throughout. We'll reserve some time at the end to get to as many questions as possible. If we can't get to your question during the webinar, we will respond to everybody. We'll just respond to whatever format you sent it to us. So be on the lookout for any answers to your questions in those spaces. So yeah, let's just jump right in.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about why the general schedules changed. And this little screenshot here is what the general retention schedule page used to look like. So we had the schedules broken into these 4 different categories, main categories: the state general retention schedule, county, municipality, and school district. There was not one for special service districts. They had kind of categories listed underneath the municipal schedule, and there'd be duplicates in each one. So each of the 4 had financial schedules for accounts payable. They each had a personnel file general retention schedule. And as we worked to get these into a function-based schedule, we started to combine the duplicates, and more schedules ended up moving from one category to another, and it became a lot harder to find what you were looking for. So we updated the interface, and we're going to spend as much time on the website showing you around as we can and how to find what you're looking for. And as Heidi mentioned, the old general schedules were really form-based, paper-based, and they talked about specific programs and processes. So for example, we had a schedule like this, 1563, that is really detailed, going into the type of the form, it says about halfway down that the first copy is the white copy, the second one is canary, retained by the school, the third one's kept by the employee. And so if the form changes, the general schedule had to be updated. And as technology changes and as forms change, processes change, offices change, it's really difficult to keep the general schedules up to date. But when you have something based on a function, they can be relevant for a lot more offices. So it works for state agencies that have thousands of employees, as well as a small service district that has 3 employees, is really what we're trying to do, and make it work for everybody as best we can. So rather than having a general schedule like 1563 that's all about this form, this piece of paper in front of somebody and how long to keep it, we changed it to timekeeping records, which is just about the function of tracking how long somebody worked and the leave that they used. And then you have the retention is 3 years. The retention's the same, and it doesn't matter what the form is. It doesn't matter if it's electronic or if it's paper. The general retention schedule is about a function. And so as we go down to different, as you go down to your records, you can have multiple types of record series and forms that can follow one general retention schedule describing a function. So if you think of the activity rather than the form, that can really help. This is so Crazy Ed's Grocery is a fun example that you may have seen in our RIMM 101 training before. If you go to a grocery store that has no organization, you got your fish and your milk and your bread in one place, and you need to find out where everything is, and there's no classification or organization to it. It's really hard to find things. So that's why grocery stores have rules, right? Produce is in one place, dairy is in another place, things are grouped together. And in the world of information and records, those rules can be organized into kind of a folder structure and vocabulary for putting things in the right place so you can find things when you need it. So in your office, you can have one record series for purchase contracts. You can have another one for maintenance contracts, but there's one general retention schedule just for contracts. And they can all have the same retention, and you can break up that file structure in your office as you need for the different record series and follow the general retention schedule function. So, on to a little more about the functions.
Yeah.
Back to Heidi.
So, I think that one of the most important things when you're using a function-based general retention schedule is spending some time considering what your agency's function is. I think this is an important exercise to sort of undertake, or an important thing to understand before searching for your retention schedules. Because in order for you to understand what records you create, you need to understand what it is that your agency does. And you are going to have things that are very unique to you and your department and why your department exists. Those are going to be your unique business functions. But you're also going to have a lot of common administrative functions that many different departments have. Because you have employees, you're going to have human resource records, you're going to have budget records, you're purchasing things, you'll likely have accounts payable and receivable, and many different departments are going to have those as well. And I think I found when I've been working with agencies that they were using our previous general retention schedule system as sort of a quasi inventory of their records, and assuming that the previous general retention schedules were a comprehensive list of all the records that their agency created, without really taking the time to understand what it was that their agency did and what they really were creating, really assessing the records that they had. So I think when you're using the function-based general retention schedules, having an understanding of what it is that your agency does is going to come in handy when you're starting to search for those retention schedules. And when we get into the search feature, I think you'll understand that a little bit more. So I think one of the first things that you should do before jumping into the search feature is to kind of conduct a basic inventory of the records that you have, or take a moment to think about what it is that you do and what records you're creating as a result of that. So I think we can jump into sort of our tips for how to use the general retention schedule search pages. Like I mentioned, taking the moment to have an inventory of your records can be very helpful, or at least an idea of your function and what records you create as a result of that. If someone in your office created an inventory previously based on the old general retention schedules, those can still be helpful. And I think when we log in to the website, we'll show you some ways that you can use that old general retention schedule numbers to help you search. So if that's something that you have, an old inventory, still useful, I would keep that around. And also if you were using the old printed schedules, that information can still be helpful, and we'll show you how you can use those old numbers and old descriptions to help you search in the retention schedule search fields that we have now. Do you want to talk about a little bit keyword tricks or filtering?
Yeah, do we want to dive into the website?
Yeah, if that's easier, we can just go
right
there.
Here we go, everybody. It's a general retention schedule page. This is so exciting.
Maybe before, yeah, I was gonna say, maybe before we jump right in, do you want to show people how they can get to this page from our homepage if they were at archives.utah.gov?
So this is our homepage. It's got a nice big search bar up here. Depending on the size of your screen, it's going to tell you how you find this folder up here. So there's a folder that says Records Management. You can click that, or you can hover over it to get to retention schedules. So I'm just going to click Records Management. And you've got our trainings. You can create and update your series-specific retention schedules here, transfer in records, and all the retention schedules are here. And there are 3 big things you can look at from here. Pause. Pause. I'm told to pause.
There you
go. Okay.
We're back.
Sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so 3 big things that from this retention schedule page. This search box is the general retention schedules. You can put in a keyword here, or you can leave it empty and click search, and it will take you into the general retention schedules. Okay, but I'm going to go back for a sec. All right, you can search for your agency in this search box here and see the retention schedules and the series numbers you have. If you know your series number, you can just put that in here. And there are some general retention schedules that are specific to departments that have a lot of satellite offices. That's what this is for. We've got the Department of Health is here, UDOT is here, Corrections, or not Health, Workforce Services, and DHS. Okay, so that's something you can talk to your RIMM analyst about, or your RIMM specialist rather, about those. If you have a lot of offices, and having one general retention schedule for the whole department would work for you. But we're going to go into the general retention schedules, and because the general schedules are getting more function based, it would be a lot. It's a bit. Let me try that again. It may take some practice to get used to searching broad things. If you search for a specific form, you very likely will not find the general schedule you're looking for, but you got to think about the function. The categories that things used to be in are still here on the side, so you can still find law enforcement schedules, your clerk schedules, education. The category does not mean that every record created by the Office of Education or by a charter school is in this category.
Not comprehensive.
Right, it is not comprehensive. Just schedules that are specific about education records, education-related records are there.
But it might be a helpful start. If you didn't know where to start, you were just getting sort of your feet, wet, you'll probably maybe want to start there.
Yeah,
and then
it's a great place to start browsing.
Yeah. If you're a browser, you might enjoy the category section.
And back on the main page, if you have the old printed schedules that Heidi mentioned, and you're wondering how you can find something using the old number, there are a couple of ways. First one, this is our FAQ page. There are a lot of tutorial videos to help you with searching and know what different elements mean. And this crosswalked schedule list is going to show you all the old numbers and what the new number is. So the numbers for all the general retention schedules changed when the interface changed. So you can find the updated numbers there. So let's try and find something. Oh, actually, before we do that, there's also the advanced search options here. And if you click it, there are a couple ways you can search for something. You can search an old schedule number here. And so if we put in, let's do SG 1-3. Okay. One thing you can do also to filter, we've got discontinued schedules and current. So if you just want to see what's active and what you can use right now, I would click on that so you can only see the active general retention schedules listed.
Maybe you can speak a little bit about what discontinued means. I know that some people have reached out to us with questions about, does discontinued mean that we don't have to keep these records anymore? Or does discontinued, can you clarify maybe a little bit about when you see discontinued during your search, what that might mean?
Absolutely. So there are two different things discontinued can mean. One is that it's a closed schedule and it's not a schedule that's in use anymore. Some are discontinued because what they describe are not records according to GRAMA, or they're specific to a certain office, so it's not a general schedule that needs to be posted. There are some for, a lot of counties would send something to the tax commission, and it becomes the tax commission's record, and so there doesn't need to be a general schedule that says all the counties create this and send it to the tax commission. So we would get rid of some of those. Other schedules that have been discontinued would have a link. Let's pull up for a contract. So we got an old general schedule here. As we said before, there used to be duplicates in each government type, and so there were 4 different kinds of schedules for contracts at least. So we combined them down to 1. So if you search contracts and this came up, this is a link to the active schedule that you can use instead to take you to the current schedule.
So you may see discontinued because we were doing a lot of consolidation. So there may be instances where the municipal schedule you were using or the county schedule you were using is now been consolidated into a single one. So you'll see discontinued, and then, like you said, that crosswalk link that will take you to the active one. So be on the lookout for that crosswalk link and use
what's going on?
and use that.
And also, if you find one like this and it doesn't have a link, but you have records, let your RIMM specialist know, and we can add a link to a lot of them that have something that exists, because daily activity schedules, there's something that's being created now instead, and we can add a link to some of those if it makes it more helpful for you to use.
Yeah, I think that's important, and one of the things we really wanted to emphasize today is that we really are interested in getting feedback from users about what is helpful to them. And so if having a crosswalk is going to help you find what you need or help others find what they need, that's really important to us to get that feedback from you. So please let your RIMM specialists know.
We have a question.
Excellent.
Excellent.
So, did time frames for things change, or was it just the language that changed?
Oh, that is a great question.
For some of them, they did. And there are a couple of reasons for that. One may be that a schedule under the state government category said 5 years, the one under municipal said 4, and the one under county said 4, and we gotta stick with one of them, right? So there may be little changes like that, but when a general retention schedule is created and when the retention change is something is new, that it needs to be approved by the State Records Committee. So you may find, oh my gosh, I don't know why we're having this problem. I'm sorry, everybody. I am having problems with this page. So if we go, let's just stick with contracts because that works. Then again, maybe it doesn't.
Maybe try a new tab. Control T.
Control T.
Yeah. Click off of that. Then Control T.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for the technical errors.
Okay, come on, work for me.
Try Control T.
Yeah,
Try that.
there we go.
Start over.
Head back to the website. You'll get another look at how you navigate our website. Back to retention schedules, yeah. Excellent.
Okay. I'm going to click and it's going to go in, right?
No.
Oh.
Should we try a different browser?
Okay. So.
Let's try looking up contracts one more time.
Let me try looking at contracts one more time.
Yeah, unless you think. Is it an internet issue that we're having?
No, the connection's good.
Website issue?
Probably our website.
Okay. Let's try.
Open Chrome?
Yeah. Apologies for first webinar of RIMM month technical difficulties.
All right, I'm opening Chrome. I hope you guys can see this.
Yeah. Yes. And
We can see everything.
Okay.
everything.
All right, so there are a couple ways that you can provide journal retention schedules, and it can be anything from this retention is too long, too short, you're missing a period, does this work for my records? So, oh sure, it says that seems to be what it wants to pull up. Let's go there. Oh.
So it's
All right.
Do Shift F5.
not, we will just talk our way through it and hopefully post something.
All right.
We can post something a little later when we put this up, navigating the website. Hopefully that will be helpful for everyone. Yeah, if we are having site issues. But
Be my friend. Be my
yeah.
friend.
I would say maybe try it without the website.
Yeah, I guess we'll just talk it through. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I really wanted to show you guys around this. I am so sorry. Well, good news is we do have other videos walking you around how to search the general schedules, what each part means, and hoping for, okay, we're going to use this. Okay, so when you click on a journal retention schedule, there's an HTML link, or you can click the title and it will take you into the schedule and you can see all the information we got there. We got the description, and if you have suggestions on how the description can be improved, we want to hear about it. If there's something that was under a discontinued schedule that you think should be included here, we want to hear about that.
Yeah.
And we can also add categories here, and you can let us know about that as well so that they are easier to find for you. The effective date is when it was approved by the State Records Committee. And the previous schedule number is the old number just for the schedule that you are on. Well, oh, right. Just for the schedule that you're on. So if you were led to this schedule by a link from something else, the old schedule number for that last schedule is not here. This is just for this one. If you want to create your own records management guide and just print off the schedules that you use, you can print it and have that. And these are 2 links we really want you to use. One for provide feedback, takes you to a comment box, and you can tell us anything you want to tell us about the schedule. And it doesn't matter what it is, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, suggest search terms if you had a hard time finding it and you think a certain search term is going to help yield better results in the future for someone else. That's one that we love to hear. And then again, if you think a description could be a little bit more specific or include certain language about certain types of records that you feel fall under that particular general retention schedule, that's the kind of feedback we love to get, because we really want these to be user friendly. And a lot of times that consolidation meant that some things got missed, or that there's a lot to consider when you're consolidating. And so anytime we can hear from people who are actually using these general retention schedules, I think that makes for a better experience for everybody.
Yeah, there have been times when there was a schedule discontinued that proved to be used by enough agencies that we just ended up updating it and making it active again. So there's a comment box for the provide feedback link, and then if you can add your own search terms here so that it comes up easier, faster, and those are automatically added to the schedule. It doesn't add to the categories, it just helps everybody else search for things.
Yeah, so if there's a certain meeting minutes, if you call them something different, if you call them, I don't know what.
Red books.
Yeah, something like that. That would help us make that search work for other people who might call them that same term.
So, another thing I wanted to go through, the retention schedule, a lot of these will say something like a lot of them will say after final action. They'll say after the case is closed, after separation. These can be more narrowly defined by your office. And that's part of our way of trying to make these usable for any office that wants to use the schedule. For one office, separation may mean when an employee leaves or is terminated. For another office, it may mean when a certain program is closed. Anyway, my point is that it can mean different things for different offices depending on how you use the records. And so for final action, this is for grants. So I would expect the final action for a lot of agencies, it would be when the last thing is paid. But it could be something else, and that's something that can be defined by your office, so you decide when that retention clock starts. Okay.
I wonder.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see if we get some other. All right, we've got a categories over here, and if there's some that you would like added, let us know. We are planning on publishing the schedules again, and if you've got an idea of the way you would like it organized, we would love to know that too.
Yeah, absolutely. Please contact your record specialist if you've got suggestions for how you might use a printed schedule, what would be most useful in your office. I know that all of us are open to getting feedback, so we'll have contact information for all of the record specialists at the end of the slides. So we'll be able to you'll want to jot that down and email your record specialist if you've got good suggestions for how that might be useful for you.
Right, absolutely. Also, when someone was asking about if time frames changed or the language, when general schedules get changed in the status up here, active schedules are listed as current. Anything that is consolidated or just closed is listed under discontinued. And when there's a schedule up for review, there'll be a third one here that says draft. And you can use that feedback box to let us know what you think about the schedule and the change. So the draft will be posted with the schedule number, and it will just show you what it says. It does not show you what the change is exactly, so you have to look at the existing schedule and then look at the draft to see the difference. You can also, to help you with searching, there are different ways you can look at them here. You can sort it by approval date, which will put the most recently approved schedule on top. You can look at the schedule by title name, so it's in alphabetical order. And one thing I really wanted to emphasize was this almost hidden link right here that says export results to spreadsheet. And if you're one, you can use this for a lot of different things. You can export all of the active general schedules to a spreadsheet if you wanted, and then just go through them and decide which ones you want to keep and which ones you don't want to use. You could search. This one says accounts payable. Let me zoom in a little bit. Sorry. Whoa, down. You could search for something and then export everything in your search. So this has 88 results. You could export everything from that list and have it in Excel so you can work with what pulled up. And there's one office I worked with that exported everything to a spreadsheet, and they used that to help with their inventory. So they could say, these are the schedules in this category, and show us what you got, and then we'll go from there. However, these can be used to let us know what works best for you guys, and that'd be great. So, do we have any other questions? Let me check that real quick.
No questions so far.
Okay.
Yeah, apologies again for the website technical difficulties. We really did want to navigate deeper into the website for you, but did not want to cooperate today.
So, if we're really lucky, maybe we could try this again. I can go into this a little bit. So I don't know how many people we have watching who are from Human Services or UDOT or something, but if you've got a lot of different offices, there may be an agency-specific general schedule that applies to some of your records. These aren't series numbers that you can use to send boxes to the record center or something, but it is a retention schedule unique to your department that your department can use, so everybody has the same retention schedule. And so there is a general retention schedule that any agency can use for government as-built plans, but this one is described specifically for UDOT, and the retention is specific for UDOT. The one on the general schedule just says permanent. Oh, which is something I would also be good to touch on. General retention schedules that say the retention is permanent and then may transfer to the archives, that does not mean you have to keep it in your office forever. It means the retention for your office has not been defined in the general retention schedule. You decide how long you're going to keep it in your office. Yes, these were approved a couple years ago. So those are UDOT. If we've got anybody from UDOT, there you go. You got some of your own general retention schedules for construction and some of those studies. And these can be updated the same way that your record series can be updated. So let's go back to what? Actually, so if you want to update or change a general retention schedule, you're going to have to let us know from the feedback box. But But if you have your own series that you want to be updating or reviewing, that's from this create and update retention schedule list. And these are just for your office, and no other agency can use them. They're just for you, and they have a unique number, so you can send them to the State Records Center, and that's how it's tied to your office.
Do you want to try and see if it will let us look at those feedback buttons again? Nope. Okay. Website not cooperating. Okay, that's fine. Covered that.
Okay, well, I think if you guys have any questions, we can answer them as best we can with the website that's down a little bit. I am so sorry.
Yeah, with our
We've got a little bit of a storm downtown. Not much, but
limited
enough that the
website
system's
activity.
down, I guess.
A slight breeze, the system goes down.
Generally go through the FAQs and the tutorial videos on this link. All of the RIMM specialists made some of these to help you with searching, defining the terms, and go through the process. And any of the general retention schedules that you have feedback on, you can give us a call. You can use that feedback link. And I'm repeating myself, but I can't emphasize it enough. We
That's
really
really
do want to
true.
hear from you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we can switch the slide with our contact info so that people can see who to contact based on their agency type. And then, yeah, like Rebekkah said, we can't really emphasize enough, contact your RIMM specialist. Let them know what questions you have about searching for retention schedules. They can certainly provide specific feedback for you and your agency and your specific questions. Even if you have feedback to say, I found this difficult to find, I use these search terms to look it up. We're really open to hearing that kind of feedback because we really do use your feedback to improve the system for sure.
And if you'd like us to visit your agency and we can help you with the inventory, starting to use the general retention schedules and staff training one-on-one.
Yes, definitely. If you want someone to come to your agency and provide a training, if you've got like a team of people that you use to manage records, we're certainly happy to come and provide training that's specific to your needs. I know that I am happy to do that for my agencies. I think the other specialists would be happy to do that as well.
Definitely happy.
Yeah, consultations over the phone, we're happy to do. If you've got Google Hangouts, we're happy to hang out on Google and provide search help if you're on the website. So yeah, jot down your specialist number or email and get in touch with them because they're always willing.
So before we go, let's see if we have any housekeeping items before.
I do.
Renee.
All right, so thank you all for coming and listening. We have a lot of wonderful RIMM webinars coming up in the next few weeks, which you can see on the screen. Also check out the video description for links. And we have upcoming trainings. I just wanted to highlight the training on Tuesday, May 21st, because that is a first of its kind certification training that we will be having here at the archives. So basically, anyone who comes, you bring your own laptop and we will all take the Records Management Essentials certification test together. We will discuss any questions that you have as we go through it. And that's pretty much what the whole training is. So I doubt it will go the entire 6 hours. If so, that's, I don't know. Anyway, but if you want to, if you need to recertify, then that may be a good opportunity for you to do so. So I'd encourage you to sign up for it.
Yeah, and I would say too, the May 17th using retention schedules training will, I think, be very useful if you still have questions about some of the content that we covered today. I think that using retention schedules training on May 17th will be very useful. You can come here in person, talk one-on-one with, I believe you're doing that training, Rebekkah.
I am.
talk one-on-one with Rebekkah, see the retention schedules again through the website, in person, hopefully without the technical errors.
Yeah.
But it's, if you've attended our workshop, our 101 workshop, and you're looking for something a little more in depth about the retention schedules, I think that May 17th training would be a useful one.
Yeah, thanks
So
for that.
That's my
pitch.
shout
That's
out
great.
for Rebekkah's training.
Yeah, everybody will have a box, and we'll go from defining the record, if it's a record or not, down to how long to keep it and how to appraise the record. It's
interactive and fun.
I hope so. Hey, yes, we'll stick around to answer any questions you guys have. And in the meantime, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.